Welcome back to episode number 2 of my conversation with Brooke Goldner. Now, last episode we talked a lot about overcoming trauma, pain, suffering to really 10x your life, your lifestyle, your business, your entourage, your friends, and really double down on these relationships that are really fueling your drive. Now, today we're going to talk a lot about differentiating yourself from competition and how to go in a completely different game to dominate it. Now, it's easy to start working on the little tweaks that will eventually get you just maybe 1 millimeter ahead of your competition, but when you're playing your game and not playing what other people are doing, and you're really differentiating yourself from that positioning, there's no competition. You're just being yourself. You're attracting the life that you deserve. This episode is going to show you exactly how to do it. Can't wait for you to download this inside your brain. I actually wanted to ask you about medical school because I know it's a reality right now where I'm currently in the transition phase between high school and college. And a lot of students around me want to make it to med school. And I know it's super, super hard to get in. And I don't even think that that starts to describe it. Are there any tips you feel that really helped you get past the dark phase? If you could go like super specific.
So medical school, at least the way it's set up in the US, is you have 2 years of mainly book knowledge where you are, studying and memorizing. And that was what I found extremely hard, not studying and memorizing because I'm pretty good at that. But, in college, even though I went to a really difficult college, I had time to kind of marinate in what I was reading. I actually think that biology and chemistry is sexy. Like, I love it. I love reading about molecules and I sit back and imagine what they look like. I wrote poetry about DNA. I mean, I'm really, really into this, right? So, but when I got to medical school, we had to read so much every night. There was no moment to sit and enjoy it. It was just like stuffing your brain. It was like painful stuffing. So that was part of, I think, why I felt so sad about it, is it took the joy out of how much I loved to learn. But I think one of the tricks to medical school is really staying focused on your why. And this is actually the trick to amazing success in any area of your life. Is usually the really awesome stuff is hard to do. You have to work to get to something amazing. So you have to stay focused on the why. What is it why do I want to do this? Because motivation will fail if you're just focused on what you have to do today. But if you've got the big picture in your head, if you have the image in your mind of, I'm going to be this amazing physician or entrepreneur or whatever it is you want to be, then the daily work's just what you have to do. And it's the same thing when I'm helping people reverse lupus or other diseases. I have a nutrition plan that reversed my disease. I mean, I've been completely disease-free for 13 years now, all because of how I eat. And I've been able to replicate those results in people from all over the world. And it's a strict nutrition plan, but it works, but the way I keep people focused, because, food is emotional, right? I want to eat what my family eats, or it's Christmas or whatever it is you got to stay focused on the why. And I write why in all capital letters, which is your reason for doing it. So one of the tricks I did for myself was, on my mirror in my bathroom, I took a lipstick and I wrote Brooke Goldner, MD, right? So it would be right under my face whenever I looked in the mirror. So every time I went to the bathroom and I'd go to wash my hands, I'd look in the mirror and right under my face, it said Brooke Goldner, MD. And I'd point at myself and go, that's right. And then I'd go in the room and I'd be excited to study again, because I had to keep that in my mind all the time, that it's not that I have to read 10 hours today. It's that I am doing something amazing and I'm going to get to live this dream of mine to be a doctor. And then all of a sudden I'm excited to read, versus when you're just focused on the chore ahead of you. So that really helped me in medical school, at least in the first 2 years where it was mostly reading. The second 2 years, you're actually in the clinics and the hospital. That for me was fun because that's what I love, is being with people and helping people. So for me, there was no issue there. Although I had friends that they were good at the book learning and felt really anxious about being with patients. For me, that was great. I mean, one, I'm really used to hospitals because I kind of grew up in them being sick. And I absolutely love taking care of people. So for me, that was really the fun part. I didn't need to motivate myself to do that. One thing that I thought was really helpful, though, in terms of choosing a career, was being really open-minded. I had a lot of friends in medical school who all they thought about was what they wanted to be. So I want to be a pediatrician, or I want to be a surgeon. And so therefore they were miserable when they were doing their rotations of the other required specialties because they were just focused on what they wanted. And for me, my goal was I'm not going to pick what my specialty is ahead of time. I'm going to find something to enjoy about each rotation. I'm going to find something great about each one. And then my heart will tell me when it's the right specialty. And so I did that. So even though there were specialties that I absolutely knew I wasn't going to do, like surgery, I would just look every day to find that moment or find something interesting in each day to make it fun. And again, those tips for surviving medical school really work for life as well. As long as you can look for the joy and look for the learning and the interest each day, then it's fun no matter what you're doing or what you're going through.
And definitely, I think it's super hard for a lot of people when they're focusing on something they're super passionate about and they have to overcome a hurdle that isn't necessarily attached to that end vision, but they still have to get over. It's definitely super important that you remain on your vision. And you mentioned how you were able to find a diet specifically to reverse lupus, and I was personally interested to ask you, like, what do you have, like, any ninja tricks in terms of your nutrition? Like, what is your I know many successful people have their secret potion during the morning that they have either with lemon juice, lemon oil. Do you have anything like that?
Absolutely. Ninja tactic. Absolutely. So, what I found was, when you're trying to help people change their diet, they go into this mourning of like, oh no, I can't eat meat anymore, or I can't eat dairy or my favorite chips. And then they get all depressed and then they don't want to do it. So what I found is really helpful is instead of telling people what they can't eat, I start by adding what they're missing. And what happens is once they start feeling really good, if I say, fine, if you're going to eat your cheeseburger, can we add, the green leafy vegetables and other things? And once they start adding other things without fearing that I'm going to steal away other stuff and they start feeling better, they become more interested and open. And so that is something my husband and I use as a ninja tactic. And the way we do it is we created these special recipes for healing green smoothies. And green smoothies where you take a blender, hopefully a high powered one like a Vitamix, and you fill it with 75% greens, like no joking around, 75% packed greens where you're pushing it down so that it's really full. And then you add a handful of like flax or chia seeds for omega-3s, which increase your metabolism and give you an anti-inflammatory immune system and increase cellular function, right? Put those in. And then you put your favorite fruit in. It could be frozen fruit like pineapples and mangoes, super sweet bananas, apples, grapes, whatever fruit you like. And what we found is even though the fruit's only 25%, when you put in the water and blend it, it tastes like the fruit or enough like the fruit that people who would never even consider eating a vegetable will put a straw in it and drink it down. And I've gotten people to drink a pound of greens a day by making these smoothies and without ever saying that they had to give anything else up. And what happens is they start to feel better. They go, wow, I have the smoothie and I have all this energy and I feel good. And then I had my burger and I felt like crap and I fell asleep. And so then they go, maybe I shouldn't eat so much meat. And so it really creates an experience where you actually feel like you're winning and gaining instead of losing. And I find that that's really helpful. So for us and my family, it's myself, my husband, and I have 2 sons. And so we have 2 Vitamix blenders on our counter. And every morning we make 2 full blenders of smoothie. And that's what all of us have for breakfast. My 5-year-old, my 9-year-old, and myself and my husband. And we have a great nourishing breakfast where we feel super energized and full. And then we're all ready to go on through our day. And I mean, I've been giving those smoothies to my kids since they were in their bottles at 5 months old. And so, I mean, my 9-year-old last had a cold when he was 2. I mean, these things create such an amazing immune system. And of course, when you combine them with a truly anti-inflammatory diet, meaning you do get rid of meat and dairy and processed foods and stuff like that, you are like a superhero. It's amazing. If you're sick, you can reverse illnesses. If you're healthy, you become the superhuman. So it's really, really cool. I can't function without my smoothie because I just don't feel like my normal energy level. I'm like, oh, is this what people feel like when they wake up? I don't know how they function. And I drink my smoothie and I'm just ready to run.
Literally, you just mentioned the Vitamix blender and the smoothie. I literally want to go after this interview and go make one myself.
Yeah, do it, man. You'll love it.
Sorry.
I'm glad I'm good at selling it.
Yeah, you bet. What is the number one way people can connect with you and actually get to know you better?
Well, I'm pretty much all over the internet, because for me, this is my passion, is to help people understand that healing is possible and healing is natural, and to help people get their lives and their health back. Everything I learned in medical school was that illness is chronic, and that you will spend your life on medicines. At some point, you're just going to get to 30s or 40s and start taking pills and get sicker, and your life will suck more and more until you die. And what I found is the opposite is true. So I was a medical director at a nonprofit in California for years, and I loved my work, but I retired in my mid 30s because I felt like I had to dedicate my life to sharing this information, because there's just so many people suffering from diseases that don't even have to exist. So I teach everything for free, because I think that the knowledge to heal should be available to everyone. So I put everything out there. There's nothing I hold back that you have to pay a certain amount of money in order to hear the real secret. So I'm all over the internet with that. If you want to make an appointment with me to help you personally, that's the only time you would ever pay any money, is to actually have me personally help you. So, I have Skype consultations. I see people all over the planet. And I also have a 6-week rapid recovery group where I help people every day for 6 weeks, and it's freaking amazing. So for people who want to work with me directly, you can go to goodbyelupus.com, and you can work with me directly. I also, if you go there, I also teach free classes every 2 months on the 6 steps to healing with supermarket foods, and show case studies of real people who have healed from lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, Sjogren's, MS, all sorts of diseases. And I show their videos and how they did it. So that's every 2 months. So if you go to goodbyelupus.com, you can click on the banner there to register for the free classes. I'm also on Instagram. It's #GoodbyeLupus. I'm on Facebook. If you just look up Goodbye Lupus on Facebook, you'll find me there. And my husband also created a free community online for people who just want to learn how to make green smoothies and add them to their lives without having to take anything away. And he did this because, this is personal for him too. He doesn't want anyone else to have to be afraid of losing their wife or their husband or their mother. He wants people to have the information. So for people to get our recipes, you can go to smoothieshred.com. It's SMOOTHIESHRED, smoothieshred.com. And on that website, there's free recipes for green smoothies. There's free videos on exercise, because my husband is well known as an expert in fat loss and muscle building. He actually has a new book out as well, Miracle Metabolism, and it's all about how to get a fast metabolism through nutrition and exercise. So all free resources there. And if you want to, on smoothieshred.com, you can join our free Facebook group where everybody posts their smoothie recipes and their smoothie pictures and their exercise. And it's super cool because we have just thousands and thousands of people in that group from all over the world. And every day they're posting not only their weight loss, but that they're getting off their anxiety medicine, they're getting off their blood pressure medicine, their allergy medicines, their lupus is getting better. And it's all from adding the smoothies to their lives. So those are all different ways that you can interact with us, get free information, or work with me in some way.
Amazing. I just want to specify one thing. Let's say someone wants to get into a consultation with you. What does it entail, and how exactly do you break it down?
So I do have Skype consultations where we would spend usually 60 to 75 minutes together. And so what I do is I'll go over their history of what's actually plaguing them, how they're feeling, what's bothering them the most. I go through exactly what they're eating, meal by meal, and what their lifestyle is like. And I create a personalized plan with them on how to convert what their current lifestyle is into a lifestyle in which they can actually reverse their disease. And so I will go through every meal with them and go, okay, listen, this breakfast is making you sick. Could you add this? All right. Step 1 would be to add the smoothie. Step 2 would be, let's change this into this as well. Right. So I'll give them steps where they can make it a better diet and versus a super fast healing diet. And so I'll go through every meal with them. And then I'll also go through any parts of their lifestyle that's holding them back. We know stress is inflammatory. Poor sleep is inflammatory. So I'll give them information on how to change those areas of their life as well. And for some people, really, it's information that they needed, and they'll take that information and run with it. And I've had people who've had one meeting with me and were able to reverse lupus or other diseases. And then there's other folks where the information is good, but they actually it's emotional reasons that hold me back, that they keep, they did fine till Christmas, or they lasted 3 days and then they got discouraged and then they stopped. And so that's why I created my rapid recovery group, where it's actually a secret group on Facebook, so nobody can see it exists unless they're in it. It's really, really cool thing. It's completely invisible. And I'm in that group every day helping people one-on-one. I help them with their diet every day to make sure that they're getting better and that they're getting it right. I help them with their stress. I help them with their thinking because, as we were talking about earlier, the way people think about their lives and their health is going to have the greatest impact. And so, there's one man in my group with lupus who's saying that, he realized that everything he does is shaped around the identity of being sick. He doesn't go out. He doesn't do things he normally would do. And so I'm working on that with him as well. So when you go to Goodbye Lupus, or you go to my classes and I show you case studies, people who are reversing autoimmune disease in 4 to 6 weeks, those folks are usually working with me in either my 6-week rapid recovery group, or for people who want to, I do 4 weeks one-on-one where they have unlimited access to my cell phone for 4 weeks. And so the reason I do those programs is just because I know that for a lot of people, even with the right information, even with a personalized plan, they still give up on themselves. And so I know if I can hold your hand every day and I can talk to you every day, I can inspire you, I can push you, I can do whatever it takes to make sure you get better. And that's why those programs are still wildly successful. I won't let people fail.
Now that is just fire. If you did enjoy this episode with Brooke Goldner, medical doctor, amazing person more than anything, make sure that you like this episode, that you make sure that you follow the Chickpea Power Podcast to stay up tuned with the latest in vegan, business, entrepreneur, internet money, all the crazy stuff that will better your life, 10x your results, and get you where you want to be. Now, if maybe you are struggling with the process, it's just because you may be a bit ahead of the process. Take your time, slow down, and really analyze before you get into it, and then afterwards you can get with the speed, but first you gotta lay the foundation. Again, make sure that you take notes on whatever you've learned. It's super critical that you actually write down whatever you learned, because just a muscle memory, you're able to retain information 70 times better. Peace.